What is going on, YouTube? If you can't tell, it's that time of year again. I'm going to be upgrading the motherboard and CPU. I'm going to the Z87 chipset. I got a Haswell 4770K in there. The motherboard is the Maximus Hero. It's an ROG board. And I'm also going to be swapping the PSU for an AX860i. It's a platinum power supply. As you can see right now, I'm just testing the components to make sure they work. So far everything is working good. Unfortunately, I do not have an additional graphics card to try that, but this is as good as I could do. When you're ever, going to be upgrading a water cooling build or even building a water cooling build, you always want to test your components. Something that takes, 10 or 15 minutes could save you potentially hours and hours of draining loops and, all the time you spent leak testing is all going to have to be redone, so I can't stress that enough. Not everyone can do it, but try to keep components that work, just keep them to the side, because it's a great way to troubleshoot, and it'll save you a ton of time, and computer parts generally don't, resell all that great. Alright, so I've got to mention I'm also going to be adding a filling and a draining port. The drain port is going to be on the back right here, and the fill port is going to be right about there. So here's my system as it stands right now. It's very blue. It's going to be very red once I'm done. Luckily I kept all of the Corsair rings, the red ones, so that won't be an issue. I am a little apprehensive or nervous about draining the loop, seeing that I have no way to do that. I'm probably just going to pull this off and try to dump most of it into a container and then clamp the hoses and drain it from right here. So we'll see how that goes. Probably just going to be spending most of today getting it taken apart and getting as many parts out as possible. So I'll let you guys know what's going on. It is now day 2 of my rebuild here. As you can see, I've rebuilt I've got the motherboard on the motherboard tray and got everything put in. I put it in the case and lined up all the fittings. I'm going to be doing a little bit different of a setup, not that much, but enough. So as you can see, the entire case is cleared out. I'm going to be putting the draining system right here. I don't know if you guys can see, but right here it splits, and then there's going to be a tube that runs back through here behind the power supply, and then is going to come out the back. Is going to be a Koolance quick disconnect. So basically just this part will be actually inside the case, and then this part will be coming out of the back. And then when I want to drain it, there will be another tube attached to this piece right here, and when I want to drain it, all I got to do is stick it in the back and then it'll come out. So yeah, that should be a pretty good method of draining it, seeing that it was really hard draining my previous loop. Kind of had some coolant spillage. Luckily nothing got on any components, but so yeah, I also drilled the hole for my fill port right here, which turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it. Another thing I wanted to add is I'm really happy with the way this board looks with this new Koolance 380i water block. It goes a lot better with my water blocks that I already have. There's a shot of my Koolance water blocks. You can see they have the black and silver, and the Bitspower RAM block already is also black and silver. So yeah, I'm basically just working on lining up all the fittings better. So yeah, hopefully today I will get most of the cable management done and I can start leak testing. Right now I have to drill a hole in the back of the case, and I actually have to use a Dremel. You can't really see it, well, I guess you might be able to see it on this side, but I have to Dremel out a little section of this power supply support. So yeah, I'm working on that right now. So I'll be back. Alright, it is now day 3 of my rebuild. As you can see, I got everything in the front done. I installed windows, and I'm now working on the cable management. Whenever I do a build, before I start my cable management, I always make sure to install windows and make sure everything like that is going and working well. The last thing you want to do is spend, you know, a bunch of time on your cable management and then realize that something doesn't work. So I essentially just run all the cables through the back and just quickly connect them, make sure everything's connected, and then I install windows and get all that done, and then I go back, disconnect everything, and work on cable management. So obviously the cable management this time is going a lot quicker because I know where everything is gonna go. But how I do it is, for one, I use little pieces like this. I got this from performancepcs.com. I got a bunch of them, but you can really go without these. These are actually better for the front, for hiding fan cables, because you can stick them on the side of radiators and then run the cables through like that. But you can easily get by without those, but these are, you know, essential to me. You can get these wherever you buy, or I got this at Lowe's when I was buying extra zip ties. They're actually little mounts. So as you can see, you can just stick them right on the back here, and then you run your cables through there. A lot of times motherboards come with, you know, little notches to run those, but a lot of times they're not in the right place. So I just I just stick these on the back and then run the cables through them. One thing you want to make sure to do though is stick those on there and let them sit for about a half hour so that they can settle. Also just keep busting off. So yeah, basically what I do is, right here is my PCI. This comes from the power supply and then into the extensions. So what I do is I will zip tie those up like that onto these little brace things that I was showing you. And the next thing I do is I take, you know, whatever cable is next, and I run that along the side of it and then zip tie that. And as you can see, I'm using tons and tons of zip ties. Make sure when you're ever doing cable management that you have just more cable ties than you could ever imagine using, because you don't want to have to be you know, sparing with them. You want to just be able to use them as much as possible. So by the end of this, I'll probably have like 20 or 30 zip ties on this. But then what I do is I just take one zip tie, wrap it around the whole thing, and then cut all the additional ones. It just makes everything go much quicker when you don't have to worry about zip ties. So yeah, pretty much after that is done, I will be ready to go. I'm actually using one less hard drive now. I'm only going to be using a 120 gig for the OS, and then I'm going to be using my Western Digital black drive, which is astonishingly fast for a mechanical hard drive. But yeah guys, thanks for checking this out, and I will get back to you.